right. Well, look at us. We're all with 10 to 1, and Natasha is up.
Hey everyone.
Hi.
Oh, friend, I don't even. I 100%. Oh God, I don't want to cry. I
Oh,
100% understand
It's okay.
because
We're with family, so do
I
what you need to do.
feel
I'm
the
right there with you.
exact same way. It's interesting because for Black Love, I was in the process of writing an article on coping with racial trauma, and
mhm.
I wrote it, but I didn't send it. I'm like, why didn't I send this? And then everything Monday, and I'm like, great. Now I have to add another piece to this
Mhm.
article. And I was up last night like looking at his mother and his aunt and his father just talking, and I'm just like, I can't write this. It's too
Mhm.
much. It's too much. And it's interesting because a lot of us, we have boys, we have little Black boys,
Mhm.
and it's just it's too much. And especially that I most of the stuff I do is racial trauma based. Like yesterday I gave a consultation very much grounded in anti-Black racism. I'm like, it's so draining, it's so tough, right, to be doing this
Mhm.
work and then also dealing with all of this, right, this embodiment of trauma. um
Yeah.
it's tough, it's
Yeah.
hard, it's hard. So I 100% am
Yeah.
there with you. I get it. Yeah.
I remember I had a conversation with my cousin and I said, this is inhumane.
Yeah,
It's
it is.
inhumane to expect any human being to be able to function through images and words that tell them they are less than
Yep.
and expect them to not only show up, but show up at a level that exceeds what is expected of anybody else. That is inhumane.
Yes, it is. It is. And that's exactly the definition of racial trauma, how it's like the total embodiment, and it's this idea that we are less than and not good enough, and that the perpetrators are correct in what they're doing. Like, oh my gosh, it was a mistake. You took someone's life, that's someone's child.
Yeah,
So it's
yeah,
tough. All that to say,
yeah.
it's brutal and it's tough. And one of my girlfriends actually said to me, because I'm doing all this work and this trauma work, that, and I was thinking of you, Monique, because she's like, you're doing all this work. Not only are you doing the work helping other people heal, but you are being impacted as well. So you need to raise all your prices, right? Just
Mm,
just for the emotional toll that it
Trauma
has
pay.
as well.
Trauma
Yeah.
pay.
wow.
Because there's so much truth to it. It's not only that we're helping someone go through it, but it's like at the
Wow.
same time that
You're
I'm
going
going
through it.
through it as
At the
well.
same time, you have
At the
to be,
same
you're
time.
experiencing it with them. Otherwise,
Yeah,
how do you really empathize? How do you really be of
Yeah.
value? You
yeah,
have to
Yeah.
tap into something in order to be that for that other person. And
Yeah.
now you are emotionally drained, and how do you now
Yeah.
show up for the next person?
that's right.
Right?
Exactly.
Especially if you're doing it in a
Exactly.
company space or you're doing it around amongst multiple individuals.
Yes.
It's it's very underrated the amount of energy it takes to, like Fran was saying, to show up but to exceed,
Yeah.
a level of expectations of what that show up looks like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my girls, one day we'll
Exactly.
be able to gather and hug.
I know. I know.
I don't know when,
Oh,
2023, but
oh my gosh. I was saying to my husband, I'm like, my poor child hasn't even been to the Caribbean to meet any family there. He's gonna be like 10 by the time we go.
maybe like Caribbean, what's that?
What's that, mama?
You know what's interesting as we're
Okay.
talking about all this stuff? Two things. Yesterday, my 9-year-old said to me, "When am I going to be able to get my driver's license and drive the car?" And I was like,
Oh
Yeah,
God.
I took my breath away for a
We're
second.
like,
yeah,
never.
yeah,
You know what's going out here in the world? You will be Ubered around. Sit
right.
down.
Yes.
And
Straight to my
then, as you
pocket.
guys were talking about the Caribbean, we talk about all that all the time because my oldest has been he's the one who's been, but my youngest, who's
Mm-hmm.
just turned 6, he's never been, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we were actually going to go last summer, but anyway. um he were talking about Jamaica, and I said, did you know that almost everybody in Jamaica has your skin? And my 6-year-old whipped around and said,
No way.
what?
Oh
Yeah,
my gosh.
And it just blew my mind that
yeah,
things that, because I grew up in the Caribbean, I feel like I have a different, like,
You have a different
Yeah.
perspective.
All my teachers
Yeah.
look like me. You
You
know, at
do,
my
yeah.
first
Yeah.
crack at university, they all look like me. People in power look like
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
The judges, lawyers, all the doctors look like me,
Yeah.
and they're growing up in a completely different reality.
Hmm.
And so it's just, yeah, that this traffic stop on, yeah, that threw me for a loop. It
And
just,
you know what? And people are saying, okay, well, why did he run? Here's the thing. I remember when I was pregnant, I was coming back from a doctor's appointment and I'm in the car on Bluetooth and I'm, my hands are doing this as I'm talking. I'm having a conversation with the company I was working for, and I got stopped. You know what I did? When the cop got to the my driver's side, I didn't roll down the window. I opened the door. That is how out of your mind.
Yeah, the
Like you're
fear.
not even, and it's not even a fear. It's not a feeling that you can put into words in the moment. It's not a feeling in the moment. You're not
You're reacting.
You're not thinking, you're reacting. I opened the door and he was like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "What?" I'm like, "Oh my gosh." And I closed the door. Had I been south of the border,
Mm.
you know what I mean? And it's like, you cannot expect someone seeing what's going on to react in a way where you would react just looking from the outside in. You cannot. And it's just frustrating to then now be the one looked on to educate
Yeah,
someone.
the next
It's like,
generation.
yeah, I can't like, come on. It's
Yeah.
exhausting to even see what's going on versus to then dissect and then educate you as to why he probably went back in the car. The dude was like fearful. When you're afraid, deathly afraid, you become like a 1-year-old. Like you're not thinking like an adult. You're not thinking rationally.
Yeah. You're on protection mode. How can you protect yourself?
Fight or flight.
Yep. Exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
And the growing up in Jamaica, I am experiencing it too, because I don't even know what to explain to my kids, because I didn't grow up seeing what they're seeing. I have no idea because people look like me. You know what I mean? Because I think the darker skin color you are, the more beautiful. Like that's literally how I think, but that is not how my children are being raised to think outside of the home. So it's like, how do you then now navigate a world that you've never experienced at their age? Like, how do you help them navigate it? It's so different. The Black
It's different.
experience is so different.
It's different.
It's not
Yeah.
unilateral at all.
No, no. And it's not, right? Because we are a Black community of Black communities and we have all varying intersectionalities to us. So it's just about recognizing that and recognizing that as much as you tell your children about your experience, their experience is completely different, 100% different. And it's okay. It's just being able to navigate that, right? That's the difficulty of everything in it all. Yes.
Right.
But yeah.
but
But that's kind
I'm
of
totally
the
totally in.
positioning, right? It's like a behind the scenes of what's really, as these powerful women go build business, like look what they're dealing with on top of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yet they're still showing up for all you guys.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like I feel like people
totally.
need to fucking hear that shit.
This is real life.
It's
Yeah.
real. It's so real.
Yeah. And I'm grateful for you, Monique, allowing us to talk about it. I don't know that I could have gotten anything about business out without first addressing that. So I
Yeah.
appreciate that.
Yeah.
Of course, you're very
And
welcome.
I think one of the reasons why you do need to share it, Monique, if I might say, is that just what Fran said, so many people are showing up at work every day, doing the do, they're expected to be productive, and they are being productive when all of this is going on, and they don't have the space to address this first, to get this off their chest first before they're expected to read the financial report.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so this space, that's why people need membership.
People need group. They need, what it really is
They
just
need
community. Like, they
community.
just,
Community.
Community.
like, you cannot build a business without the self, without what you're
Yeah.
dealing with, without what you're like, it's just
Yeah.
not possible. You're not a robot. We're all human beings. And the more we push it down or try and separate it, the worse we show up as, the more disconnected we are, the more inauthentic we are, and that eventually will combust.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's no
It's,
way around it, right? So I love that you guys feel comfortable that you can come here and talk about whatever you're dealing with, right?
Oh, I love you ladies. Absolutely.
Like, I don't know what we would do if we couldn't talk about what's really there. Like,
exactly.
I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't even bother. I can record a video and teach you something. It's like, go watch it.
Yeah.
Right? It's like the juice comes from the authenticity. It comes from the what, and I write it down, like, what was Fran dealing with today? And, you know, because it's business, but it's like, you cannot build it without the what you're dealing with. House done, burned down. Trying to run the kids out the house. Then, you know, trying to build the business, trying to launch a new product, then being on, you know, actual media, then social media, then, you know, having to deal with the world. It's like,
Yep.
I don't know how we're not all on medication.
Right.
Yep.
Well, this is my medication. I'm not supposed to be drinking coffee. But, like, you know, it's like people, and I love that you said that, Roxanne, like, people don't, who have like regular jobs and stuff, don't have an outlet. They take that, then they go home, and who knows how they release it, if at all.
Yes.
Right? Because everything trickles down to the family. Everything. And that has a ripple effect. That I have my own personal experience of having a parent who was so angry every day because of what was happening in the world, but as a child not understanding that, right? Like
Yes.
that, then that child grows up, and what do you
Yeah.
think they are? Angry. You know
That's
what I mean?
right.
It's like, I am so not interested in that as a cycle. People
Yeah.
just don't get it, but you guys
That's
get it.
the intergenerational
Yes.
cycle that you speak of, right? And it's
Yes.
multi-generational because that parents and then you and then future and all of it, and it trickles down. And this is exactly what I do and speak about, the intergenerational traumas, the racial trauma, and how it all impacts us. And I think there's such a stigma around mental health, but people don't recognize that we're all dealing with mental health on some form
Every
or
day.
facet, because
Yes.
it's about our experience.
Yeah.
It is about the self. It's about who we bring in when we're going to work or when we're having conversations. We're bringing ourself and all the things that we have gone through and experienced, and our legacies and ancestors from behind us.
Yeah.
So it's all part and parcel of it. You can't tease it out.
But that is such a contradiction, though, isn't it? From how, you know, we are raised, and I can only speak to the Caribbean. You know, you're raised in the Caribbean. What do you mean you? You're selfish. Like, why are you talking about you? Who cares about your feelings? Like,
You don't have
people
nothing to worry about.
people aren't supposed to like you. People are supposed to respect you. And the only way they'll respect you is if you show up and you give
For
your
everyone
all.
else.
Exactly. And you demand from them what is owed to you, and you're tough, and you, like, there's no room for emotions. Like, if you're emotional and crying all the time, they call you mad. They'll send
Yes,
you to
you're
Bellevue.
useless.
There is no room for self.
For the emotion. Yep.
There's
For the
no
emotion, yeah.
room for that, right? You're a cowardice. You're a wuss. You're all these negative terminologies when all you're trying to do is preserve yourself by turning inwards, but it's not seen that way. So it's such a contradiction to how you're raised.
I think it's really important that we talk about it. It's really important, the work that you're doing, Natasha, because people need to understand that it's okay to feel that tension that you're feeling, that weirdness, that thing. Sit with it and just let it wash over you, and feel it. Feel the sadness, feel the discomfort, feel the I feel the fear for my kids when my husband calls it, when, you know, when he's gone off to pick up whatever and he's taken too long. I'm like, where are you? Why you don't reach home yet? Right? Because there is this weird grief and worry and upset, and we need to acknowledge it. The more we push it away, right, with all this stuff that is still happening in the Asian community, I worry for my friends. I worry for Sachi. Like, it
God.
there's a lot of things that are happening in our community that
Yeah.
are horrific, and we're just expected to keep going, but we have got to stop and allow ourselves to just feel it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's heavy and it's hard, and especially that, all of us in some shape or form, or a lot of us on your platform, Monique, we're racialized peoples, right? We're racialized people and we're women. So we have again this intersectionality, and we're trying to cope and survive and build, and also being impacted by the different implications of what we have been told about ourselves in this
Yes.
society,
Hmm.
right?
And I love that you pull us away from that, Monique. Just even
Even for
you
even for a
you
little
call
bit.
us to greatness, right?
Yes.
And we're
Absolutely.
not women of color. We're not encouraged to do that. We're encouraged to know our little place, and who are we to build empires, right? Who are we
Right.
to build companies and firms and ask for more and charge more? And so even though we're women and we're trying to do our thing, but we're trying to do it from our corner. And you're like, enough of that corner. Turn on the
Sh-
light.
Shout
Take a
it on the
seat, right? Right.
mountaintops.
Right?
And
Yes.
Get
so
out to the world.
I appreciate
Closed
you for
mouth
that.
don't get fed.
That's right.
Absolutely. Thank you for saying that. It's something that what's so interesting is when I was showcased, and if anyone has to leave, please do. We're like so past the time, but when I was talking about being a mentor for City Moguls this week, I was looking at my mentors, and most of them were white.
Mm,
One, Kike Lola, the late Kike Lola,
mm,
was the last one, but the first one was a white man. Greek. We had like to look at us, nothing in common, and he did so much for my business. Gave me so much of his free time. An amazing human being. And then the next one was a white woman,
mm,
right? Again, same, generous, gracious. We ended up building a business together, and now we're like best friend. Amazing. And then Kike, who was no nonsense and was one of those people, one of the first people I saw who was just like, no, we're going to have everything.
Yes.
mm,
She was doing
mhm,
things that I hadn't
Yes.
seen. She was traveling. She had contacts in the States. And she was just like, Monique, what are you doing here? If the
Yes.
population's too small, you have to expand, you have to grow. And she was just so unapologetically herself and
Yes.
surrounded herself with these other women that did that, that I was like, okay, I'm very clear. I see it. But then when I was doing my business and I wasn't making money, like real money, I was like, people are talking about making money, but the actual interworking, like the actual like tangibles of how to make money, I found I was looking for a new mentor, a new coach. I could not find one that I connected with. And it's probably something to do with being in Canada. It's not as easy to do. And I had, a friend, and she was black, and she was exponentially making money in her business, and she directed me to her coach, who was a white woman, a Jewish woman. And again, I was like, well, no, I want a black mentor. That's what I want. But by that time, I was like, no, 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 no. There is nothing getting in my way. I don't care what skin color this person is.
mhm,
Right.
If they can give me what I'm looking for and we connect, and we
Yes.
connected within 30 minutes of speaking.
Yeah.
mhm,
I was like, I love this person. She's an amazing soul. She knows her shit. Whatever she teaches me, I will take back to my community,
mhm,
because the mind shift that happened around the making more, the seeing what's possible, like really seeing what's possible, not seeing it
Yes.
on social media, because she's not even on
Yes.
social media,
Yeah.
seeing what's possible and millions of dollars.
Yes.
That's when I was like, oh, my whole mind was blown. I was like,
Yeah.
I'm not even thinking as high. She had me think and expand my mind in a way that I didn't know was possible.
Yeah.
And I said, that's what's missing from whatever it is I teach, from whatever it is I do, whatever it is I build. If I can take that and put it in you guys, I have done my job, because there is no replacement for that abundant mind. People talk about abundant mindset, but this is not, until you see someone who has millions in a bank account,
mhm,
it's just talk,
That's it.
mhm,
right? It's just when people say, yes, six figures, again, is an elusive number. An
Yeah.
actual number where you
Right.
see it
Yeah.
and them worked for it, and how they do it, that they're not killing themselves for it.
mhm.
I was like, show me that.
Yeah.
I know I can work myself to the bone and make it. Show
Yeah.
me how to do it with ease. Show me how to do it with joy.
Wow.
Right?
With
I was like,
joy.
that,
Yeah.
right? Right?
Yeah, with joy,
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
course.
You
Why
know,
do it
Yeah.
I
then?
didn't know it could be that way. I was never taught that. It'll always be hard.
Of
You have
course.
to, if you want it, it will be hard. You will kill
course.
yourself. You will die early probably, but it's okay. Your kids will benefit.
Exactly.
That's how it's gonna go.
Yeah.
And I said, not on
Yeah.
my watch. No friggin' way. So when I
Yeah.
see all of you guys with all the skill set, and there's the only thing in your way really is, first it's the mindset, then it's the know-how. The mindset's got to change first. The know-how will be there. That's not a
Yes.
problem, right? But all of you guys are so brave without knowing it. You may not see yourselves that way, but every time you take action on something that I say, when you're scared, you don't want to do it, hire assistant, charge more, launch something, it's bravery showing up. Like every time, it's the courageous showing up.
Yes.
And that's what I remind myself of when I'm like feeling my own imposter syndrome.
Yes.
Right? That's why it's so important you guys write down the testimonials, you reread what people say about you, you look at your accomplishments, you measure things, because you will forget how far you came. And all of you guys give back. All of you guys, what you do is giving to somebody else. And we've always been taught that, you know, you've got to be a servant. You've got to charge little pennies to serve and to with other people. And it's like, how do you serve exponentially if you've got no money in your bank account when you're struggling yourself? How do you do that? You can serve more people. You can be Oprah when you got Oprah money.
That's right.
You can build schools, right? We're not
Right.
just helping one. Helping the many is the goal,
Build
right?
schools.
Yeah.
Right? Like I always think like Oprah builds schools. I'm like,
Yeah.
what are you even talking about?
Yeah.
Changing history, changing something to that degree. Like to me, that is just the whole reason for being here.
I
Right?
love that, Monique. I remember as a teenager, someone asked me, what do I want to be? And I said, a philanthropist.
Oh, I love that.
Wow.
All of this is just the means to an end, right? The ultimate goal is to give from your overflow. Just give it away.
Yeah.
You're already full.
Yeah.
So give the excess.
So we got to get that overflow, honey.
Absolutely.
That's it, right? And it's never going to come as fast as we think. It's all, but at the time that it does come, we may even miss it because we're so focused on the next thing, right? And that's why I'm always like, guys, we have to celebrate the wins because you're going to miss it. When I first hit six figures, I missed it. I didn't know. I was so busy the time before when I missed the six figures that when I passed the six figures, I didn't even recognize it because I was just in the doing. Right? So it's so important to pay attention to what you're building and what you're doing and your accomplishments so you can remind yourself you are taking the steps, even if it doesn't look how you want it to look right this second, right? So it's so great that you guys get to be here and we get to remind each other. Because where else are we going to do that? We're not going to buck up at a networking event and do that. Right? We're not going to run into each other at the grocery store and do that.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
So
I took the computer into the kitchen because I was putting some stuff together for the kids, and so they were looking at the screen and who's that? And then my youngest remembered when I had ordered my wonderful donuts from Bryan, and he looked and he said, "That's Miss Fran. She brought us the treats." I'm like, "Yes." And my older boy, he's like, "And that's Monique. Is she your teacher?" Yes.
Like, yes and yes.
Let me tell you, my son, whenever he sees Monique, he's like, "Oh, it's Auntie Monique. Mama, Auntie Monique's on the phone again."
Oh, so
I'm
cute.
gonna have all these little mini children.
You're just big auntie. And look what I did.
Yay!
My story matters.
Oh yes. Totally.
It's my little
right next to your People's Choice Award.
Yes,
Yes.
exactly.
I love it. So I think even more so than just that clip, I'm like, this is entirely a podcast episode. You guys will be on the airwaves. Because I'm just like, these are the types of conversations you can't plan for.
Yeah.
I try when I interview my guests and stuff, but you can't. The conversations we have behind the scenes are the juiciest, are the ones where people are like, wow, I thought it was just me. Like, that's what I always wanted to hear. I always wanted to get around people where I could hear the things they're not talking about online. Because I get to have that, but they won't let me record them. Right? And then it doesn't get out to many people, which is fine. It's like they're dealing with themselves in a business. Meanwhile, maybe their outward facing brand, that's not what they would share. So I respect that. But it's also like, but the people who are like at the cusp need to hear it to know that, oh my God, I'm not the only one struggling with this.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we just got another episode right here. Well, I'll leave it there, guys. I will let you go and enjoy the rest of your day and be amazing. And yeah, I'm just really grateful for you guys.
Grateful for you.
Same. Grateful. Love you all.
Nothing but love for you.
Don't make me fog up my glasses. Bye, ladies.
Take care, ladies.
Bye,
Bye,
Sachi.
Sachi.
Bye, friends.
Bye,
Bye,
Sachi.
Bye,
Bye,
everyone.
Bye.
Yeah, bye.